Hello everybody, welcome back to another Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport update today. Today we have a whole bunch of aircraft to get into today, including some new models as well that were unboxed in the recent massive unboxing, and also got a whole bunch of new GSCs. So this airport is going to be absolutely packed with GSC, at least more than they usually are. So that is going to be great to see. Makes it definitely a lot more realistic here when we can have a whole bunch of GSC roaming around the airport. So our first aircraft today right here will be this Delta CRJ-900 in the Comair 30 years of flight livery. This one is operated by SkyWest though, as Comair is not around anymore. The aircraft was actually formerly registered as a Comair aircraft 679 Charlie Alpha, which would have been a Comair registration back in the day, but now it's operated by SkyWest. This one arrived in from Columbus, and now it will be heading out to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Alright, now moving on to another pair of CRJ-900s right here. Beginning on the bottom of your screen there, we have the first of two Shapeways Custom CRJ-900s. This one is in from Cincinnati, Ohio, and it will be making the flight out to Des Moines, Iowa. Behind that one here, we have the second Shapeways Custom. This one actually arrived in from Des Moines. It will be heading out to Cincinnati, so doing the reciprocal of the previous Shapeways Custom. So that's pretty ironic that both of the Shapeways Customs are doing the opposite flight schedule today, but very, very good right there. Both of those operated by Endeavor. And now we've actually filled both gates here in the B concourse in today's update. Now, there are about 10 gates here. There are only the gates on the even numbered side, which is this side, are still in operation. So I believe there are a little bit more than 10 gates here, but we only have represented 2 of them just because this concourse is pretty much irrelevant today, but both of our regular gates here are being filled in today's update. So in the back there we have our first aircraft, the Denver Air Connection Delta A320 jet. This one arrived in from Thief River Falls. We're heading out to Ironwood, Michigan, both of the EAS routes by Key Lime Air / Denver Air Connection. Although, actually, there was a new one that just started up in its Pierre, South Dakota. And that one runs like thrice weekly service to Pierre on the UN-45. So that's pretty cool. And then finally here we have another CRJ-900. This one also offered by Endeavor. This one has arrived in from Rochester, Minnesota. And it'll be heading out to New York, JFK. And as you can tell, I'm definitely still sick here, which is quite unfortunate, but we'll move on here to this section of UN-75s here, beginning with the Delta Connection UN-75 right there, the first of 2 Gemini jets, SkyWest operated Delta Connection UN-75s. This one is in from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we'll be heading out to Madison, Wisconsin, so a pair of Wisconsin routes right there for that one, very nice. Our next aircraft here is the Shapeways Custom UN-75. This one is in from Chicago Midway, and you'll be heading out to Omaha. So the Midway route, that one is normally on the CRJ 700 at least. It used to. We only got Midway on the CRJ 700, but looks like it has gotten an upgrade to the UN-75, which I find quite fitting because the CRJ 700 to Chicago, I mean, that's quite a big route. I don't know, however you want to pronounce it. But definitely, I think it makes more sense on the UN-75 than on the CRJ 700. Finally here, we have the second Gemini Jets model. This one also operated by SkyWest. This one is in from Indianapolis, Indiana, and will be heading out to Grand Forks. How about WestJet on the 737-700 here? It's been a while since we've included them in an airport update. Still haven't seen a swoop aircraft that hasn't been painted yet fly in here, but I'm hoping that we might be able to see that at MSP eventually. I can include it in an airport update. But here is the WestJet 737-700 filling in for our 737-800. This one arrived in from Edmonton, and you'll be heading back out to Edmonton on the turnaround today. So WestJet's still going strong there with their 5 weekly services on all weekdays to Edmonton, and then the Monday and Friday services to Saskatoon. So now we move on to 2 aircraft that appear to be hanging over a cliff, beginning with the United 737-800 right here. This one is really pushing back for the service out to Denver. This one is on the turnaround service today, is also arrived in from there. Behind that one here we have the American Airlines A321 in the Stamp to Cancer livery. This one is in from Charlotte Douglas, and it will be heading back out there on the turnaround as well. Definitely hoping that someone can release a regular livery American A321, preferably with the fenced up winglets, but also I would accept this sharklet version in the regular livery. Hopefully Gemini Jets can make one, or NG does a re-release. That would be very useful for me. I know Aero Classics just did the Piedmont Retro livery, which I'm tempted to get. Also the A321 Neo I'm tempted to get, so we'll see what comes of that. But yes, these two aircraft are only United. This is our only United aircraft. We do have some more American aircraft that we'll get to later on here. But we're not done with One World yet. We're still sticking with that theme. We still have another airline of them to get to here before we move on to a big string of Delta aircraft. So here's, of course, the Alaska 737-900. This one arrived in from Seattle, Tacoma. Once again, this is on a turnaround. It'll be heading back out there. This aircraft actually in the exact same spot as it was in the last update, so hasn't moved at all since. But here it is once again. Of course, this is the Alaska 737-900, looking absolutely beautiful here. Great NG model, and glad that it can once again return here to MSP. Alright, and our first new model alert here for this Delta Airlines Airbus A320. Lovely model here by NG, and glad to finally include this one here in an airport update. Glad to finally have a new aircraft type here for Delta to include, as they fly a lot of A320s here, and I haven't had a model to represent them. But here is a Delta A320. This one arrived in from Salt Lake City, and it'll be heading out to Boston, Massachusetts. Behind that one here, we have this Delta A220-300, looking very nice. This one arrived in from Milwaukee, and it will be making the service out to Chicago O'Hare. So two cities that like each other very much, Chicago and Milwaukee. Definitely kind of an ironic city pair there once again. Two cities very close together, and you know what happens when cities are close together? they tend to not like each other. So that's what we have going on right here. But honestly, two lovely cities in my opinion. I'm a big fan of Chicago, as you've maybe seen some of my travels there, and then also Milwaukee is also a very nice city, and I'm looking to try to visit back there sometime this year. We'll see if that happens. I'm not 100% sure. Flights to Milwaukee are very expensive. I actually looked at some earlier today. Yeah, flights there get quite expensive. Definitely a lot cheaper to take the train. Fortunately, if I took the train there and back, I would have about 2 hours in Milwaukee of turnaround time. But that's just what happens, I guess. But yeah, two very beautiful aircraft right here. And then we have another one just around the bend right there. And finally here for the F concourse here, at the very end of it, we have this Delta A319 right here. This one arrived in from Dallas-Fort Worth, and it will be heading out to Nashville. Taxiing by right here, we have this Delta 717-200. This one arrived in from Kansas City. Airliners International 2024 will be there, and so will I, most likely. So check it out. I always have to shout it. I swear, it's always the 717. This 717 here, this flying to Kansas City, and it's always a shout out to airliners. So there it is. This one also arrived in, this one arrived in from Kansas City, and I'll be heading out to Charlotte, North Carolina. Right here, we have this beautiful NG Models American 737-800 with the logo on the winglet. And the actual aircraft actually did have the logo on the winglet, so very fitting right there. This one arrived in from Phoenix Sky Harbor, and will be heading out to Dallas-Fort Worth, the two big American hubs out there in the south. Two lovely airports as well. And then heading over here, we actually have another American 737-800, and this one doing the reciprocal of the previous one. This one arrived in from Dallas, and will be heading out to Phoenix Sky Harbor. So very nice right there. These two landed within 4 minutes of each other, so it seemed like just the perfect coincidence to have them both be like that. We'll actually zoom it out, see if we can get both of these on frame. I don't think we'll be able to get... maybe we might be able to. I guess we'll get partially both of them in here. So two lovely NG Models American 737-800s right here. Both going to two of Red River Aviation's airports. So shout out to RRA. And so yeah, two fantastic models right here. That felt too perfect to not include in a double shot like that. So there they are. Looking very nice. Right here we have this Delta A321. This one arrived in from San Diego. It is currently taxiing out for the service out to Fort Myers, Florida. All right, now moving along here into the G concourse, which once again is very full today. Our first aircraft there on the bottom of your screen is the Delta 737-900. This one arrived in from Cancun, and it'll be heading out to Los Angeles, LAX. And then further up here, we have the regular livery A330-900neo, and this one arrived in from Amsterdam Schiphol, and it will be heading back out there on the turnaround. Of course, we have a whole lot of Amsterdam routes. This is the first arrival of the day here. Actually, there are no KLM flights today, so this is the first of 2 Amsterdam flights, both of those on Delta. And considering the previous aircraft, you might be able to guess where this one is heading out to, or actually rather where it came in from. This is the Team USA A330-900neo. This one arrived in from Paris Charles de Gaulle, and it will be heading out to Tokyo Haneda after staying overnight. So I guess the Tokyo flight, which will be happening later, will be arriving in later today. I'm guessing that aircraft will then head out to Paris instead, and then this one will just be sitting around here, and then it will head out to Tokyo. And right here we have the A330-300, which this one arrived in. This is our London flight, filling in for an A330-200. This one arrived in from London Heathrow, and you'll be heading back out there. So I normally don't include that one in these airport updates because I don't have an A330-200, but I'm normally using this A330-300 for another flight, but today it worked out that I could use this for the London flight, so there it is on this A330. And the next to that one here, I guess we'll knock this one out as well. This is the 737-900. This is actually my new 737-900, which is the newer Gemini Jets release, 2023 Gemini Jets release. And this one also arrived in from Cancun, and it will be later making the flight out to, let's see, what was this one? This one heading out to San Jose del Cabo. So very nice right there. 2 international Mexican routes, of course, here in the international part of the G concourse. So yeah, very filled today. Got some 737s in here. Normally, we only see the A330s or maybe an A350 from Delta or an A330 from KLM. But today we got some 737s doing some international routes in here as well, so we'll have to see that. It's just a little something different here, if I can speak today, which I can't, clearly. Already struggling with that, so we're doing great in today's airport update, though, all things considered. And by all things considered, I mean that I sound like a frog that just got its wisdom teeth pulled out. Our next aircraft here is this Delta A321neo. This one just arrived and is currently taxiing to its gate. This one arrived in from Orlando, and it'll be heading back out there on the turnaround today. So good to see some A321neo action on the Orlando service. I also have 757-300s. So no matter what, if you're flying to Orlando, you get a pretty cool aircraft to fly on, whether that be a new bird or an old bird. Right here we have this Delta 737-900. This one arrived in from Los Angeles, LAX. This will be making the service later today out to Salt Lake City. So this aircraft doing some hopping today. Actually, after Salt Lake City, we'll be heading out to Seattle. So this aircraft bouncing between all the Delta hubs today, I guess, pulling a Jeb Brooks. So that's very nice to see for this Delta 737-900. And right here we have this Delta Thank You livery A321. This one arrived in from Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson, or Citrus Aviation's airport. This was supposed to head out to Orlando, but it ended up getting diverted back here to MSP. I'm assuming for a mechanical issue because the aircraft just stuck around all day and actually stayed overnight and then headed out to Fort Myers the next day. So I'm not sure what the reason for why this diverted was, but considering that it stuck around here, maybe they had to just get something repaired on it. I'm not entirely sure, but this aircraft isn't going nowhere for the rest of the day, but it will be heading out to Fort Myers tomorrow. And then our next aircraft behind that one here, we have this Delta A220-100. This one arrived in from the Santa Ana John Wayne Orange County Airport. It'll be heading out to Dallas-Fort Worth. Right here we have this Southwest Airlines 737-800. This one arrived in from Nashville, and you'll be heading out to Orlando on another one of our 20 Orlando flights. Not really 20, but it's probably getting pretty close up here now. It's crazy how many Orlando flights there are. This is quite insane. I mean, it's that time of year, I guess, but jeez, Orlando is absolutely popping off. So here's Southwest on the Orlando flight. We also see Delta, Sun Country, obviously. Um, do we see any? I wonder if we see more airlines. I think maybe Frontier. Um, I don't think Allegiant. Allegiant doesn't fly to Sanford from here. Um, so that might be it, actually. So maybe I'm making more of a big deal out of it than I really should be. But there's too many Orlando flights. Why can't I get a flight to Anchorage at this time of year? So right here we have the Sun Country Airlines 737-800. This one is in the livery, the Arial text font livery. I mean, the actual model is in the Transavia hybrid livery, but I always use this aircraft to fill in for Arial text font livery because it does have the Arial text font on it. It just has all the Transavia stuff, which they don't have any more aircraft that are like this anymore, but it still works very well. This aircraft arrived in from Fort Myers as well, and this will be making the flight out to San Diego later. And here we have our second Sun Country 737-800, only two in today's update. So that's quite impressive considering that we've seen a lot more in some recent updates. This one arrived in from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, which is Sun Country's weird EAS route that they, for some reason, have. And they'll be heading out to Fort Myers, so that's where the previous one arrived in from. So going from a destination that makes absolutely no sense for Sun Country to the one that makes the most sense for Sun Country to operate to. So that's just that's perfect right there. I love to see it. You love to see it. Well, we talked about there being a million Orlando flights, but now let's talk about there being a million Fort Myers flights. Here's another Fort Myers service. This one on Frontier, this A320 Baja the Whale Shark, A320 Neo, I should say. This one's on the turn from Orlando, or sorry, Fort Myers. They're pretty much interchangeable, right? They're both Florida cities. They're all the same. Yeah, crazy. It's insane. I mean, I guess I was part of the Fort Myers flights 2 years ago, so I maybe don't have much. I have one leg to stand on. I don't have two, but I still have a leg to stand on. That it gets monotonous over here how many Orlando and Fort Myers flights that we see here, but I guess it's fun to see. So here's another Fort Myers flight. I've said that probably 4 times already in this video, but here it is for Frontier Airlines on their A320neo. So good to get some more airline variety, at least. Maybe not route variety, but we have airline variety in today's update. So you'll love to see it. You'll love to see it here for the Frontier A320neo after the Sun Country 737-800, where you love to see that one heading out to Fort Myers. And we also have some cargo action today, beginning with this UPS MD-11 right here. This one on the turn from Louisville, the world port out there for UPS. And that is where this aircraft will be going to today. Looking very nice right here in all of its MD-11 glory. Tri-jet, baby. Love to see them. Even more MD-11 action here with this FedEx MD-11 right here. This one on the turn from Memphis. So that is the FedEx Super Hub. So very convenient right there. We got both of our Tri-jets going to the main hubs for both of our cargo airlines today. We also have this FedEx 767-300 here. This one has arrived in from Indianapolis and is on the turnaround as well. This is, I believe, the first time that we've gotten this aircraft in an airport update here. So welcome to the FedEx 767. Lovely model right here. Picked this one up out in Vegas at the airplane shop. So here it is right here. Looking very nice. That'll conclude our airport update today. Thank you all for checking this one out. Sorry if it was a little bit quick, but I also need to quicken up this intro so I can get out of here because my voice is not doing very well right now. That'll do it for today's update, though, so I will see you tomorrow. As always, good night. Auf Wiedersehen.